A small startup just made government meteorologists look obsolete, not slightly behind, not in a niche category, beating them by days, and the agency that's been funding weather prediction for decades didn't see it coming. According to TechCrunch AI, Windborne Systems has built a weather forecasting model that outperforms the best government predictions on the planet. The question isn't how they did it, the question is what happens next, and what it means for you might surprise you. Weather forecasting has been a government monopoly for most of modern history. The National Weather Service, the European Center for Medium Range Weather Forecasts. These agencies have had decades, billions in funding, and fleets of satellites. They set the standard. Nobody questioned it. Then AI showed up, and a startup with a fraction of the budget just moved the finish line. The stakes here aren't small. Weather prediction touches every industry on Earth: agriculture, aviation, logistics, insurance, emergency response. When the forecast gets better by days, it doesn't just improve your weekend plans. It reshapes billion-dollar decisions made every single morning. Here's the first thing you need to understand. Windborne Systems isn't just slightly better. They're beating government agencies by days. That's not a marginal improvement. That's a generational leap. In forecasting, a single day of additional accuracy can be the difference between evacuating a city in time or not, between a cargo ship rerouting before a storm or sailing straight into one, between a farmer saving a harvest or losing it. Most people think of weather apps as conveniences. They're not. They're infrastructure. And Windborne just built better infrastructure than governments have managed to produce in 50 years of trying. If you work in any field where weather affects operations, and more fields do than most people realize, this is directly relevant to you right now. But here's where it gets really interesting. The second thing most people are missing is the structural reason this was possible at all. Government agencies are not bad at their jobs. They're constrained by their jobs. Procurement cycles that take years, legacy systems that can't be easily replaced, risk aversion baked into every level of bureaucracy. A startup like Windborne operates without any of that weight. They can ship faster, iterate faster, and deploy new models without a congressional budget hearing. This is a classic pattern of AI disruption. And it's accelerating. The incumbent has a data advantage. The startup has the speed advantage. And right now, speed is winning. That dynamic affects every legacy institution you interact with, not just weather agencies. Now, here's the third angle, and this one matters most. What Windborne has done is provide a proof of concept that will not go unnoticed by competitors, investors, or governments themselves. When a startup beats a government agency at its own core mission, one of two things happens. The government acquires the startup, or the startup eats the government's lunch. Either outcome signals the same thing. The old model is finished. Reportedly, the weather intelligence market is worth tens of billions globally. Windborne just announced to every investor on Earth that the door is open. Expect capital to flood this space, expect more startups to follow, and expect the agencies to scramble. Nobody stays comfortable after being publicly outperformed. Here's the bigger picture. This story is not really about weather. It's about what happens when AI gives a small, fast team the ability to do what only large, slow institutions could do before. That pattern is playing out in radiology, in legal research, in drug discovery, and now in meteorology. The question you should be asking is not which industry gets disrupted next. The question is which institutions in your life are currently operating on the assumption that complexity protects them, because Windborne just proved that assumption wrong. My prediction? Within 3 years, government weather agencies will either be licensing AI models from private companies or becoming irrelevant to the forecasts that actually drive decisions. The monopoly is cracking if you want to keep tracking moves like this one. The stories that look like tech news but are actually signals about how power and money are shifting, hit subscribe. I cover this every single day. See you tomorrow.